that it?
Mm-hmm. We're here now.
Doing the business? Well, go on then.
Me?
Yeah.
Hi, hello. Welcome to the Prickly Stitch Podcast. We are a fiber, fabric, and handcraft podcast from Northeast PA.
Mm-hmm.
We're back again to harass you with all of our whims.
All of our whims, all of our knits, all of our black yarn that you probably won't be able to see on the camera, but guess what? It's black. Well,
This is Lochknits and I'm Suck.
my name is Haley. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Lochknits.
And my name is Katie and you can find me everywhere on the internet as Misfit Sock.
Our alter egos are Lochknits and Suck.
Suck looks a little like this. So if you see that face, it's because Suck's coming out.
Suck's coming out. Oh, we are eating our social tea biscuits, which absolutely no one commented on. No one remarked.
One person did.
Did they? What did they say?
I don't remember their name, but they said that their parental would always keep those in the house and they didn't realize that was weird until we made it weird. Basically is what they said. But one person said that they had social tea biscuits.
Social tea biscuits?
They had a laugh with us about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's who we are. Welcome. We have a bunch of stuff kind of wrapped up from the last episode. We're gonna talk about our giveaway person. I guess winner is probably the correct word.
Giveaway person.
Our giveaway person. But we have a winner for the giveaway, which we'll do that at the end of the podcast. Yeah, we just came back from a little brunch.
It is our ritual.
Now we're here. Oh, I know what we did not mention at all on the last episode, but has happened and is very important, is that we had our over-dyeing day. Doesn't that seem like a long time ago that we were stirring the pot?
Yeah, it does seem like a long time ago.
We had many, many knits. These two sweaters that we're wearing specifically were part of it. I think probably most people who, I'll just say, like, dress the way that we dress and also make things and craft and knit and stuff have gone through a phase, I think it's safe to say, where you fall in love with yarn or you fall in love with like a color and you say, I'm gonna knit something that's gonna be on my body, and then you make it and you finish it and you go, no,
I'll never wear it.
I'll never wear that.
Yeah.
No chance. So that happened to us, and we had these two sweaters were kind of like the impetus. We did dye other things during the over dyeing session that we had, but the two biggest things that we wanted to change the color of were each one of our Love Note sweaters, which is what we are wearing today. If you don't know what Love Note is, it is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. I'm pretty sure that pattern has like 10,000 projects on Ravelry.
It is an incredibly popular pattern.
It's a really flattering like cut, I feel like, for everybody, and like the lace detail just like is so gorgeous and sweet and simple. It is one of those sweaters that like looks a lot more complicated than it is, but it's really like very pleasant to knit because it's knit at a larger gauge. It's intended to have like a more drapey fabric, and that's one of Tin Can Knits patterns that they have 1,000 sizes for, so I'm pretty sure it starts from like baby to like up through like 5 or 6 XL is usually how they size them. So there's like something for everybody in this pattern. I knit the Love Note out of some fingering weight yarn I got at Rhinebeck a few years ago that was like the color of my flesh, which like I don't know what I was doing or like what I was thinking. It was just bad. And I held it with really nice black, like a brown black mohair. And the mohair was wonderful and I love the way it felt, and I usually have like a really difficult time with mohair because I have like incredibly sensitive skin as it relates to like mohair specifically. So I was super happy about the way the sweater felt. It was really comfy and cozy and warm, and it was like the first project that I had made where I held mohair and could actually wear it, and I loved it, except for the color was gross. It was
I liked
gross.
it. I did like the finished shade that it turned into of yours. I understand why you didn't wear it though.
Yeah, it just didn't go with anything. Yours was definitely better in terms of like something that you could wear but just weren't drawn to. How would you describe your...
So my love note I actually made for like a very specific purpose. I had to be in like a country wedding. So it was like mandatory that I wore a sage green dress. And it was like in October, it was going to be cold, so I just wanted something that I could put on top of a sage green dress for an outdoor barn wedding. So what I did is I used Miss Babs for mine, and it was a, I don't know, was it maybe like a cooler gray, to neutral gray, and then like a taupey brown yarn, and I just held those fingering weights double, so it created this like light slate gray sweater, which
very
was
like plumpy fabric.
Yeah,
with the two held together.
Lumpy. It was nice. For somebody else who's not me, because I can't wear like gray of a certain value, I guess, like a certain brightness. I just can't do it. It makes me feel very strange with the contrast of like my skin, hair, and then black pants that I'm definitely wearing. Yeah. I did also modify my love note since we're both wearing them. We can kind of reference, if you see how far like the lace goes down on Haley here.
I did the full, like, to pattern, basically.
Yes. And I cut out, like, the last repeat of lace because I did not want it to, like, come that far down. I didn't want to have to worry about what I wore under it. So I only did, like, 2/3 of the lace.
This is over. I want to stand up and show my love note. So we're going to get some little...
It looks very purpley in this light.
Yeah. Close up, biz. I don't know if it's focusing. Who's to say? I just really love it. I'm so happy with it. It's so pretty. It's just great. We were very worried about, in the dyeing process, I was specifically, and I think you had one too, we were worried about what was going to happen to the mohair. Because, like, the color, sure, we can, like, work on just dyeing it black and, you know, any value color change would be preferable, and that's fine, but I was worried about it, like, felting, matting together, like, the softness that I really liked about this sweater, like, what was gonna happen to it? I had no idea. No, it did not do any of that stuff. It literally feels exactly the same as, like, when I knit it, which is great. I'm just very happy about that.
We did give it a little consideration, though. I would say, like, we weren't totally lawless when we did this over dyeing. We had quite a few things and we stuffed them into various pots, but like we knew these were the priorities, so we tried to put those in earlier than some of the other things, just so that they had the most chance to like immediately absorb all the black. And then we tried not to like overcrowd the mohair. Like your love note has mohair, mine does not. I had a different sweater that had mohair in it, so we just like tried really hard not to like rough it up or let it boil at the bottom for too long. We did do like where we made a dye stock.
We used acid dye.
We used acid dye from, where was it?
Dharma Trading. We pretty much followed a YouTube tutorial that we found that I'm sure you will find immediately. It was in many parts. If you just Google like how to use, or not Google, YouTube, how to use acid dyes. It was in many parts. We followed that step by step. And then winged it the rest of the way. It still was really difficult to get like concise information about dyeing, though. Yeah, I feel like dyers are a little gatekeepy, and I suppose I understand why, because it's like their means of making money. But it's also just putting like already made pigment into water. So we were just trying to find like some information about the science behind that, which proved to be a little bit more difficult than we thought, but it's still, everything turned out, these turned out great. We had some other pieces in there that were maybe like a little less consistent. Your pieces that you put in there were like just turned out fucking crazy, like wild and very like tie-dye. Yeah, very tie-dyed. It was interesting and very uncertain, but what we needed to work out, worked out. So yeah, it was very exciting.
Overall, very pleased. I did not immediately like the results of my other sweaters. I love how this turned out. As Haley said, we'll like insert some better clips and better lighting and like compare what we did dye.
Yeah.
But you talked me into liking them, honestly. The one I didn't like was very, it was just like a raglan that was very pink and had like Selena in it. Surrey, yeah, it wasn't mohair, it was a Surrey silk that was held double with like a superwash yarn. And it was very all over the place, but you made me feel like it was more of like a tie-dye and it was fine. And then you said something that really resonated with me about like having a sweater that I didn't feel like I had to be precious about because I kind of didn't care about it anymore. Right. Like it's already like as ruined as it's gonna get. And
it's not gonna get any worse. Like you can put hot sauce on it now. It doesn't matter.
And it's like super warm. And now that it's like grungy, it's just like a very comfortable sweater. It's like a good around the house. Like I'm gonna roll around on the couch with the dog today.
Yeah, sweater. Exactly. Like just shit like that. Like rolling around with the animals and getting fur and fuzz on everything.
It was a bit liberating.
Yeah. It's good.
But yeah, very happy with our dye day. I would say that was probably like our biggest success. It feels like having a whole bunch of new objects.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I really like how your shawl came out.
Yeah. I don't have it with me.
Do you have it in your home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that turned out great. And that's what we're wearing today.
That's what we're wearing today. A little bit of a weird start.
Yeah, weird start, definitely. Got a little bit of everything today. We also have some sewing business to attend to.
Big sewing business.
While we're here. So, that's what we're wearing. Finished objects next. Do you have finished objects?
I only have one finished knitted object. So I don't know if you want to do like all of our knitting and then get into sewing after, or if you just want, okay. So for as far as what I have, that's a finished knitted object. I just want to say I've been trying to purge my superwash sock scrap stash because it is taking up a lot of storage space that I would like to use for other things.
Yes.
So the finished object I have is a little experimental, and I wanted to say that I am like completely already come to terms with the fact that they might not work out, but...
Are these the tube sock?
These are some tube socks I made.
Ooh, what? What?
These are actually for you.
Ooh.
So if you want to take one and like try to pop it on your foot to let me know if it fits.
Every single episode. With
stuff.
the feet.
So these socks here are, it is 2 fingering weight yarns held double. And I have had this like idea in my head for a while about this yarn, about holding 2 strands of self-striping together and seeing if it marls.
Oh, mommy.
So are those too tight?
No.
They're okay for you?
They feel good. Like, really good.
Woohoo!
Here's the freebie.
So,
there you go.
My logic was, and this is why I've been asking you a lot of, like, suspicious sock-related questions about your...
me.
Right. Because I figured if it was too tight for me, it would probably fit you, because the socks that fit me are baggy on you. So that was like my logic. So I was like skeptical these were going to be too tight even.
No.
But the yarn you have probably seen before. If not, I've talked about it on my previous podcast. This is by Neko Norb Knits. The colorway is Nana, and it is based off of a manga and anime series just about 2 girls. 2 girls in love and friendship. But I made me and Haley socks out of this, and I bought 2 skeins of this fingering weight yarn, and I had leftovers, so I was like, I'm gonna hold them together and see how they marl up.
So and it's the same.
It's the same as those other socks I made you. I just held 2 separate balls together.
Whoa!
I actually gave you the leftovers of this in that bag. Whatever.
Yeah, I saw. Oh my gosh! So how many stitches?
40 stitches on a US 2.
Did these just fly off?
They did, but I was scared because, like, it's a DK weight sock, right? Like, I know what you tell me all the time for your fingering weight, what works for you. I wasn't sure how these were going to work out.
These are stupendous.
I have no idea what the heel and toe are. I'm not even sure if it has a nylon content. It was just in my scraps. It might even be a worsted weight, so just keep that in mind. But like some thicky DK socks, I thought would be really nice.
I have never seen anyone do the marling of self-striping on this scale.
I think it's fun because it's the same colorway. They just seem like fun, like clown lady socks, and I thought you would like them.
I love them.
So these are your socks. I didn't block them or wash them or anything like that, but I was really nervous about them until I put them on the blocker, and I'm like, oh, that'll fit a human being.
Yeah, honestly, if you're ever gonna, like, make me socks, I like them to the point where they look like they're not gonna fit a human.
Right. I kept trying it on my foot, and I'm like, that simply won't do, and I'm like, I hope it works. But again, I used her, like, DK vanilla pattern. Oh. I didn't follow the pattern, but I stole the cast on. So 40 stitches on a US 2, and I just knit it until I was tired, and then I did the afterthought heel and toe.
Very nice.
So
these are so sweet.
Just wanted to have something nice. And thicky socks sound like, ooh, a little treat, you know?
I absolutely love thicky socks. Thank you so much.
Of course. That is like my only actual, like, completely finished knitting object that I have today.
Is that what you're doing again in your whip?
Yes. Well, we can...
Okay.
We'll do it later, but yeah, it's 2 strands of fingering held together.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. What do you have that's finished?
I finished my set. So on the last episode, I was talking about my coworkers both have birthdays the same week. I finished that black lace shawl that I had knit for Tara. I gave it to Tara. Tara loved it. And then this next set that I was making is for my other coworker, Kay, who is the one, I think on the last episode I said she's so beautiful and like she doesn't need anything from me. So just trying to keep it like classic and simple and everything, because she's like a classic sort of lady, I guess.
These are lovely.
Thank you. I had gotten the yarn in the mail like the morning that we podcasted, and I held a bamboo merino with a Surrey alpaca. One was gray, one was like undyed, like natural cream colored, and I finished my little set that I made for Kay. So I have a plain classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho, which is like a fan favorite of many. And then I'm just gonna put these on.
The combination feels heavenly.
It really does.
And I'm not exaggerating when I say that word.
I even like handed them to Nate and I was like, touch this, and he went, oh. I was like, yeah, exactly.
It feels like a kitten.
It does. It feels like a soft kitten. It almost feels like I could fool someone into thinking that there's like some Angora content in this.
Yeah. Or even like Angora rabbit content.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Is Angora a goat?
It's also a goat. It's what makes mohair. I don't know. The bunnies.
The bunnies. Yeah, I meant the bunnies. But yeah, so mitts and then this hat. Just a little gift set. I can't remember if I said on the last episode, but Kay usually has very long fingernails. And so fingerless mitts seemed like a good option to just kind of avoid that. But the pattern, like I said, for the hat is the classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho. I think it calls for like a worsted weight or something. I've knit this pattern in like DK, fingering held with something, worsted held with something. Like, it's just the Wild West of knitting patterns. You can do whatever you want with it because it's so stretchy. And then I found some, it's literally called Easy Fingerless Mittens. I almost just said Easy Fingerless Mittens, but that's what the pattern is. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I like this pattern a lot because I do not have to pick up for the thumb stitches. Oh. They're just bound off.
It's just done.
It's a wonderful, beautiful thing. I was so happy about it. The only thing I changed on this pattern was the ribbing called for a 2x2, and I did a 1x1 just to match the hat. But yeah, not a whole lot to say. Like I said, just followed the pattern. These ones are the adult mediums. These are also incredibly stretchy, and I am a firm believer that like a loose fitted fingerless mitten is like useless to society. So I mean you saw them on my hands, like they fit snugly, but they're not like uncomfortable by any means. But yeah, this yarn, my goodness.
Yeah.
I think I'm
glowing.
Yeah. I feel like I want to keep more Surrey in my stash just to have, but also like this undyed color of Surrey seems like it could go with just about anything, and it'll just kind of like lighten and brighten it up a little bit. But I think having some like black or gray suri and then also some natural colored suri just kicking around in my stash all the time would be really nice, because I'm very impressed with how this feels, especially like for a gift knit. People think that knits are always going to be like scratchy and like uncomfortable and everything, but like, my goodness, this is just a treat. So yeah, I think I finished these. These took less time than this hat did. This hat sucks. I hate this pattern.
Well, ribbing.
I just don't like 1x1 ribbing a lot. It takes forever. I always have like a really great start, and then I get to like halfway through it, I'm like, are we decreasing yet? And then you get to the decreases on that pattern take forever. It makes like one of the nicest finished objects that I've ever like had before, but it's just like a really annoying pattern in my opinion. So yeah, that was the first time I knit the easy fingerless mitts pattern, and I ended up saving it. It was a free pattern, and I saved it like so I can access it later, because I know I won't make them again.
Yeah, how could you not? I mean,
they're just so cute.
Yeah. Good way to use up yarn.
Yeah. So I finished that. I think outside of that, that's the only like finished object that I had. That's
all right. We're working hard, you know?
I mean, technically 3 finished objects, but oh, here's my, I just wanted to put my shawl on. I'm just cold.
Tell us a little bit about your shawl if you're going to put it on.
Oh, okay. That's the beans. Those are the rolls. The shawl. You can't see shit. It's just a shawl. No, it's
Everything
not.
shows up better when
it's actually on the video.
Yeah.
This is the Point Shawl by Stitch Party. Stitch Party was, I'm pretty sure they're not dyeing anymore, but they were 2 yarn dyers from Pittsburgh that were friends. And they wrote a couple patterns and everything, and I met them at a bunch of vendor shows. I don't know why I'm putting it on like this. I don't wear shawls like that. But it's a really simple triangle shawl. There's a lot of stockinette and then a couple like purl ridges like every 10 rows or something. And then the bottom is just mostly garter stitch. The bottom on this shawl that I have knitted, that did not call for it in the pattern, but I just like went rogue. The bottom yarn that I used is alpaca across the base. So I think it's like a merino, like just a basic black wool up top. And then I have a band of like super softy, like luscious alpaca, and it's kind of ratty, and like I get a lot of wear out of this shawl. I probably need to like take it under the sweater shaver a little bit. But yeah, the shawl is called the Point, I think in reference to the Pittsburgh Point.
All right, well, I will just pop off the other. This is like an almost finished, like I'm not going to show this on the podcast again.
Whoa.
My first pair of shorties. I don't know why I did that. Having an episode. So these were the pocket sock from a few episodes ago.
Yeah, you were knitting this on the train when we went to go knitting live.
Yes. So I finally popped a heel and a toe on there.
Cute.
They're just weird little socks. It's my first time ever making like a little ankle sock. They're a little bit baggy, but you know, before you put the toe on, you look and you're like, there's no way that's gonna fit my foot. That's not enough foot. So then I actually added a few rounds before I did my toe decreases, and I regret that. But that's okay, because anything that doesn't fit me, I just give to my boyfriend, or I will throw these in the wash maybe and try and shrink them a little bit. I'm not worried about it. I only wear them in the house, but that's the pocket sock. This one's done. I just need to weave in the ends, and then I am currently doing the toe on the other one. I have the heel all ready to go. My preferred way to be the least amount of annoyed by doing these tubes is I take an evening. I did it when I made these other ones too, because this is what I was working on this weekend. I take an evening, I put in some yarn to pick up my stitches, where I want the toe and where I want the heel, and I get it all set up to go, so this way when I sit down and actually want to start knitting the toes and stuff,
just go.
I don't have to think about it. I just put them on the needle, cut it, and we're ready to boogie. But the contrast yarn I'm using is a yarn I bought a really long time ago. I've made other socks out of this. It is by Andromeda Sock Yarn.
Oh, you knit some black stripe tube sock for you and Ian, right?
Yep, matching socks for us out of it. So I bought 2 skeins of this. This was her Master of Puppets colorway. She was doing like this playlist themed dying time over a course of a year or months. I don't know. She did like a bunch of different albums. But I bought this and I have a lot of it left over. And I just thought it would be like an interesting contrast. This actually, wrong one. This actually was like reminding me of something and I couldn't figure out what. And I think it reminds me of Charizard because his wings look like this, for anybody who's a dork.
Okay.
And wants to just reference that.
I believe you.
Haley has no business with it, but
no, I don't.
yeah, just put my heels and toes on this. This will be done like by tomorrow.
Very nice.
I do not plan on talking about these again, so you can consider them a finished object or not. I'm not bringing them back in 2 weeks.
We're not.
But more sock stuff. This is the other thing I was working on yesterday.
Cute.
What about you? You got a whip?
Yes, I have two. Just want to revisit my little 2 at a time socks because this is the first time that I've knit socks 2 at a time, and I'm not gonna do this again. Just so everyone knows, it's just not for me. It's too, I have to like look at it. It's too like, I don't know. I'm too involved in this, and like I don't knit socks to get involved. Like if I wanted socks that I was invested or involved in, like I would do colorwork socks or lace socks, but I'm just doing vanilla socks, and there's just too much happening here. I'm not like excited about working on them at all. So I'm actually going to like take one of the socks off and just set it to the side, finish the other one as a tube, and then do like I normally would. I'll just have 2 separate tubes. But I just wanted to say I did make progress, but not as much progress. And we talked about it today that you said, I'm surprised you're still working on those.
Yeah.
And that's how I know that it's not working for me. So.
I've seen these socks in your hand 3 times. And I don't think I've ever seen you working on any project 3 times in a row.
It's not. I knit very fast and I knit a lot. And like this is just too much for me. So not enjoying that. Just wanted to follow up on the idea that I will not do that again. Usually my preferred method of making socks is just knitting a tube on magic loop and then cutting it in half wherever the half ends up being, and then adding in afterthought like everything. So this is just not working for me, but I just wanted to update everyone that sucked.
Well, you know, everybody has their way of socks, and that one's not for you, and I think that's okay.
But I was happy to give it a try. It was nice that I thought I would try something new, and it just, they don't all work, you know? But speaking of trying something new, a more important and fun whip that I have is crochet.
Aww, look at how sweet.
Isn't this cute?
Yeah.
So, I am making a scrappy granny square blanket. My boyfriend's daughter's name is Penny. She is 8, and she's gonna have her 9th birthday next month. And she is like blanket lady. Like if she is home, she's walking around, not unlike the way I walk around with shawls. She walks around like with a blanket around her all the time. She's a little drama llama, and I think the blanket just adds to her, you know, sometimes she'll like do this at us and stuff. So I wanted to knit her like a big, like squishy blanket. And I have so many scraps, and like she's 8. She doesn't care about color. She just likes all the color, you know? So I was like, whatever, I'll just make something like this for her. And the part that is new to me is the join as you go for the granny squares. One of the reasons, like I love knitting or crocheting a granny square. I do not make anything with them because I absolutely hate sewing them together. I find is like a really thankless and unfortunate task, and it's just like yarn everywhere and like unpleasant and not fun. So I stumbled upon this video a couple months ago. It was Hannah from the Corner of Craft had done a tutorial about how to do join as you go granny squares, and I just kind of like clocked it and was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I'll have to revisit that at a later date. And I did, and I learned how to do join as you go, which is, in my opinion, like a lot more fun, way more intuitive, and then you just have like one ball of yarn that you're operating, like there's no weaving in of the ends or anything. Like I have plenty of ends to weave in anyway on these dumb little squares. So I just wanted some continuous join as you go business. And I'm really happy that I like learned this skill. It was very difficult to like wrap my brain around like at first because of there is a lot more planning. It's not just like make a square and then you go around the square, like there's a lot of like up and down this way, and then after you finish a row you have to go over the top, and then the next row is like slightly different. It's a little confusing in that respect, but after the first like 2 rows I got the hang of it. I only started this maybe like a week and a half ago, maybe not even a week, I don't know, time is weird. But I got, how many rows am I? I'm on the fourth row, and I'm almost done with it. I told Sock I'm like kind of getting to the point where I have to be a little strategic about what colors I'm putting where. So that's kind of what's holding me up right now. But one of the things that I realized I liked about this project is being able to like take a break from doing little squares, and then you can work on joining them. And that's the same thing, but less stressful, you know what I mean? No ends to weave in, like you're just kind of like going and putting everything together. Then you get to the point where you're low on squares, or like you need a different color or whatever, and then I'll just sit and make a bunch of squares, and it's just fun to be able to like go back and forth. Like typically projects are like, okay, now I'm doing this, and now I'm on the sleeve, and there's no way out for me, I just have to finish this sleeve, you know? So I have this stack of little squares that I'm just like grasping in my hand right now, but I just wanted to show the size of how absolutely fucking tiny they are. So like this is 1 square. I'm using all like sock weight, fingering weight yarn, and I'm using an F hook. I really like an F hook with the fingering weight yarn. It's not too tight, but the gauge doesn't create like too loose of a fabric. Like it's still very pleasant as a finished object, but it's not really fiddly and tiny.
What is an F hook? What does that mean?
F hook,
is that their sizing, or?
Yeah, I keep forgetting that you don't crochet. They go, oh, it's in here. I think they still have millimeters attached to them, but like, I'm American and I don't know millimeters. I'm good with like single letters. So this is, an F hook is 3.75 millimeters. I'm just using like a crappy like boy one from Walmart or something. But yeah, I really like the F hook with fingering weight yarn. You can see it's not like, it's probably equivalent to like a US 4 or 5 with the fingering weight yarn, but I tend to crochet a little more tightly because I just like use a lot of like gravity to like complete stitches and stuff, and it just ends up with like a tighter finished product. I'm getting these out because you need some.
Oh, blessings.
So, yeah, that's what I'm working on. It has, I only have probably about, is today the 13th? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like the middle of the month. I have about 1 solid month left of being able to work on this before it will be like due for the birthday festivities. So I feel like I've gotten a really good start on it. It's been very fun and enjoyable. So I think I should be able to get it done.
Very good.
Yeah. But that skill has been a really good use of my time to like invest and figure out how to do it. I already have like a million other like granny square projects in my brain. And it's really gonna be good for stash busting. I have by far the most like fingering weight yarn in my stash in terms of like scrap yarn. I don't have like a ton of DK or a ton of worsted or anything like that, but the fingering weight yarn has been like out of control for so long because I really like mini skeins. I think they're so cute. There's something about just like a tiny little thing of yarn that
just a taste of a color.
Yeah, it just like freaks me out. And I don't understand all these people that are like, I hate minis. I don't want to do advent calendars. I don't want to do this. Like, give me your minis. They're so sweet and cute.
You heard it here.
Yeah. But that's my whip.
That's your whip. All right. Well, I am working on something with my hands right now. Right now in my hands, I am working on something.
Jesus Christ. Malfunction.
He's
upstairs.
not here right now. So I am just basically doing the same thing I did with the finished socks that I showed. I am just trying to hold some fingering weight sock yarn double and make myself a DK pair of socks. So I'm just knitting a tube. I really like tubes because I really just want to knit. Sometimes
that's what I'm saying.
Like a little tube sock is perfect because it's low pro enough that I can just sit there and do it, and nobody's like paying attention to me. Nobody's like, "What's this weird lady doing?"
You can carry it in your pocket.
Pocket sock TM. The yarns I am using are actually leftovers from a shawl that I made a long time ago and gave to Haley since then. It was the Stephen West
I don't know.
spring cleaning shawl.
These are 2 different colors, right?
These are 2 different colors. So the first color here, I don't remember who dyed this yarn, but it is called Cursed Spindle.
Oh, nice.
It appeals to my slimy green sensibilities, even though I've learned I cannot wear that color.
No. But you can on your feet?
I can on my feet, but it's like very, very slimy greens, bluey purples, and like kisses of like pink and red in there. And then the other one I have, I believe is called Creatures. This one's by Nitty and Color. So it's like gray, black, and then like a kiss of purple, and that slimy green. So I'm holding those together, and we're getting this, which I feel like might be really hard to look at on the camera with our lighting.
I don't know. I could tell pretty easily.
Right.
I appreciate the fact that I could not tell if the strands that you were holding were the same yarn or different. I think that adds enough interest, but it doesn't make it like fugly or crazy.
Right, I think it's fun. I'll probably just put like a black toe on them like I did with yours. Probably the same exact yarn. Tater Cam.
Tato!
I do like her. I do.
Yeah.
We built a rapport. The first time I met Tater in Pittsburgh, I said, oh, I'm going to pet this cat, and she went and tried to bite me.
She's a terrible creature.
We've come a long way. But yeah, I just started these. I just cast them on last night because I wanted something to work on while we chatted, and I needed something for work this week.
Yeah, like in my mind, that is the purpose of having a tube sock.
Right.
2 at a time, it just sucks.
I do hate actually putting in heels and toes, though. Like,
I've figured out, I really hated it for a long time, and the last couple of tubes that I did, it's gotten a lot easier for me. I have to, like, think about it less, and it's gotten easier, but, like, you will not catch me putting in heels, toes, and cuffs after 7 o'clock at night. I need, like, full daylight. I need this ring light that's right here. I need to be able to, like, see everything, you know, very
I went through the full range of emotions yesterday, like, doing those ones and the Shortie Socks I made, because what I hated is that, like, at first doing this, I'm just in my head, like, these aren't gonna fit. I'm wasting all my efforts. I'm stressed out, and they're not gonna fit. Also, I hate using DPNs. I just don't like it.
What do you use DPNs for?
Like, when you decrease to the point where, like,
oh, I still use the magic loop for that. That's what I was
I don't like magic loop. It's too much for me. I need, like, the little... It's besides the point. But after I realized that those were gonna fit and then those ones still fit on my foot, I felt better. I felt less stressed out about it. But the, like, beginning of putting them on, I'm like, I'm wasting my time.
Do you ever wonder, like, it's crazy that we even made it through knitting, like, our first couple pairs of socks, because sock knitting is very stressful.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, and until you know what's right for you, everything's like, okay, well, might be terrible, I don't know.
Right. I've been very lucky. I've only made a few pair of socks that have not fit me, and they have not fit me by being too big, not too small, which is good because, like, I can just give them to
you have a boy.
A man who barely wears them anyways, but still, at least they're, like, somewhere. Since that's all I had to talk about with, like, new knitting, I think I'll just flash my sweater anyways.
Yeah, let's go.
Just flash it, since that was, like, a quick little... It's just been, like, a pain in the A, you know what I mean? Like... But it's starting to be a sweater now, which feels better. So you're gonna there's a tangle of strings. I'm working with 3 balls of yarn right now to, like, alternate. But last time I talked about this, there was a stitch marker. So last time I talked about this, we were where that little stitch marker is dangling off. I had not yet split for the sleeves. I have since split for the sleeves.
Love it.
And I decided I would knit like an inch beneath where I split. Yeah. So that when I was trying it on,
it's so flimsy before you, like, get anything. Right. I hate that part.
It's hard to get a judgment of, like, oh, is my sleeve where it should be when it's just, like, a cast-on row. I wanted something there so I could, like, check the fit.
Yes.
And we are going to be playing Yarn Chicken with this, so I decided we had to do the...
This is, like, every means and manner of stress that you could possibly...
Yeah, there's so many strings right now. I regret pulling it out completely and entirely, so we won't talk about it for long. I will give a more thorough update next time.
Yeah.
Look at this. Don't look at this.
Look at it, don't look at it.
But I did not only a little bit of the body like that, but I also knit about half of the sleeve. Ta-da. So you can see there's like some variation in color.
Oh my god, you really did. I was like trying to look out on the camera. This is so nice.
Right? Do you want to just like put your hand in the hole?
Yes.
Put your hand in the hole. I'm working with 3 balls of yarn right now because one of the skeins I bought was way after thought.
Is that a drop stitch right there?
It might be.
It doesn't look like a structural issue.
Oh, you know what that probably is? Because of the like fisherman's rib, whatever, sometimes I do drop a stitch on the needle and it's like too complicated, so I just like put a regular knit stitch back on.
Okay.
So there's 1 or 2 spots in here that have like a slightly thinner fabric.
I think the only reason I noticed that is because I like stuck my hand in it.
Yeah, it is like surprisingly forgiving. Like sometimes I just do like a knit and a purl and it blends right in.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're getting somewhere. I'm decreasing, doing the dang thing.
This is so fucking nice.
I'm trying really hard to blend the yarn in.
I really don't think it's as severe as you think it is.
It's because I'm like this working on it. When I'm wearing it, it won't matter.
People can barely see what we do anyway.
I will make a statement that, let me see here. What?
What's happening?
Do you see this line here? So that is where I initially attached
the new.
I don't want to dip my stuff in the, where I initially attached the like different yarn.
Yeah, you
right?
can see it.
Oh
wow, it really is right there.
Right. So the reason that looks like that is because that was on a right side row, which is where I'm working in pattern. And immediately after doing that one row, it occurred to me that I should use the lighter yarn on the wrong side row. So this way, when I'm on the right side, it's pushing that back and the lighter color is going to be hidden in the purl stitches.
Oh.
And hidden in the yarn that gets pushed behind the fisherman's rib knit stitch.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
And I just feel like that's something I want to say in case somebody's doing a pattern like this.
I mean, I think a lot of people are knitting that pattern specifically.
Right. So if you have to alternate skeins, put the different skein on the wrong side row because it's going to be pushed behind whatever your more consistent color is. And like if I stretch this, I mean, you might not be able to. You can see that all of the light color is hidden in the pearls, but it shrinks down and then it looks dark anyways.
That's a hot tip. Very good.
I will probably put a stripe on the other side as well. Like I will probably, you know, just for consistency. But I just thought that was a nice little thing I learned. Yeah. And I wanted to share. And I don't want to look at this anymore right now.
I'm sickened
so
by
I'm going to stuff it away and I'll give it a better talk about next time. Yeah. But I have been working on that all week aside from yesterday when I was working on socks. That's the only thing I've been doing is...
I'm very proud of you. I know you talked about only doing that, which is always a lofty goal, like no matter what. But that pattern, we've heard from like a couple different people that they're like, making my way downtown with my Stria cardigan. It's taken forever.
I would like to have it done by May.
Yes.
Which I think is an attainable goal. I just have to like be good about it. Like I can't cast on anything more than an accessory until it's done, I don't think.
Is the neckband on that also in this rib pattern or is it something different?
It's definitely some sort of rib pattern, but I don't know. I don't think it's like a fisherman's. I don't know. I didn't get that far. It might just be like a normal
I was wondering if like when you get to the neckband, I mean scale-wise, obviously, like it's going to feel like you're at the finish line.
Yeah.
But I wondered if that might like be a nice, enjoyable way to like end the project for you or if it was also going to be just more of the same.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm on the ride. I bought the ticket. I'm taking the ride. I'm not... Like, if I sit down and I get going, I don't mind. But I have to be very particular where I'm placing my yarn balls and how I'm grabbing them so that my yarn doesn't get tangled. And then if Ian's like, hey, can you come check this out? No, I can't. I'm set up with, like, all of this yarn. I need to sit here for an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's good to see some progress on it. And I just can't wait to get her done, you know.
Get it.
I've had enough.
I just liberated one of the socks. We're on single business now.
You're gonna be zooming now.
Fucking
Those will be done by the end of the day.
Rock and roll. Leave me be.
Should probably hit the button.
Oh. What did you say?
I said I'm all fricked up.
I heard you. I just wanted that in the video.
Oh.
Wow, this feels good. This feels nice.
That's what Daddy ordered.
This is exactly what. Also, part of the reason why I enjoy knitting socks on Magic Loop is because I do like the extra support that you get on the bottom of your hands from having a regular length needle. Not like a bunch of DPNs clicking together and not the tightness of like a 9-inch circular. The whole reason I enjoy doing that is completely defeated when I have 2 at a time, because you're knitting like this, like horizontal. There's nowhere to like put your hands because there's just fucking socks everywhere. Anyway, I'm just like coming to terms with this.
I hate the feeling of a long needle. It like hurts me in a way that I can't. Like, it's so uncomfortable, the pressure, and I think that's why if I could only knit on needles this long, I would, because I like just having my fingertips on them. I hate it pressing on the side of my finger.
It's how your hand, I don't know why the geometry of your hand, that's not what I'm talking about, but how you like hold things and like where you like find comfort. Like, I'm doing this like death grip thing on the needle with like my last 2 fingers on my hand while I'm knitting it. But I like spider monkey around it. Anyway, I'm really sorry. This is just like a total tear about these fucking socks.
That's pretty much our knitting, right? Or our knitting crocheting.
Yeah, I have some fun spinning content. May I share?
I would love to see your fun spinning content.
I have not spun on my wheel since I moved at the end of December. Brienne took it for a whirl. And I had to like lube it up for her to get going on it. But then she came, spun her little skein, and then left, and it was just still sitting there. And I was like, oh, I really want to like spin something. And I was having this moment, I guess, on my couch where I have all of my like mini skeins for this granny square blanket strewn about. And I have so many of them, but it's so big that like trying to match where the colors are going to go. Like, I feel like, oh, I wish I had more yarn, or I wish I had just a little bit of more variety. So I was like, why don't I just spin some sock yarn, you know, to put in this, and then there'll be like crazy colorful pops of shit. So I knew that for myself, I was not going to be able to successfully like have not spun on a spinning wheel since like 2022 and then just jump right into fingering weight. Like, I knew that wasn't gonna happen. So I have like one skein that I did for practice, and then one skein that I did that I think I will actually be able to use in the blanket. This is my practice one. And if this is
so pretty.
Yeah, if these colors look like familiar, it is because this is the remnants of the bulky skein that Brienne spun that she showed us in episode 2. So very dark purple, really grape color, and then pops of like pink, teal, some sparkles, just fun stuff. Yeah, give that a squish.
That's nice.
Isn't that nice?
It's got a smoothness to it too.
Yeah. I have some other handspun that's of this same weight. This is probably a solid sport. I don't think it's quite a DK, and it's definitely not a fingering, but probably a solid sport weight yarn. And I have another one of this weight that I spun that's varied, but like next to this, it looks like a tonal or like a semi-solid. And I think I would like to knit a hat with some color work on it that's like 100% handspun. I think in the sport weight with some color work, it would be really nice. But it's like an ice blue color, like almost white, but blue. So I figured with like all the little flecks and tone, look how freaking cute that is. That's my plan for this, but I do want to use this. I don't want this to just sit in my stash and like stare at me. So that was my practice skein that I spun. If I ever talk about spinning on here, I probably have no idea where the fiber's from or what the content is. Like, I don't know. So don't ask, because I don't know. And then this is the skein that I think is more of closer to like a truer fingering weight. I'm not very good at like spinning consistently, nor do I like give that much of a shit. This is just, you know, fun for me to do and make, but like, look how cute.
It's very pretty.
So holding these and looking at like the thicknesses of both of them, you can see how much different and thinner the green one is to the purple. These are both spun. I think this is important to mention too, that these are both spun from art bats. And if you are a spinner, you will know that like art bats usually have a bunch of shit in them, like sparkles and locks and different like comb tops and stuff like that, so the texture is really varied. So it is difficult, more difficult, not impossible, but more difficult to get something as a consistent spin, especially like a lace weight. Like it's really, I'm not doing myself any favors by using an art bat,
right? But
I wanted it to be like wacky and special because it's like for a project for an 8-year-old. So this, I'm trying to see if I have like a good, yeah, here's like a good roundup of like, there's some fluffy bits, there's some like really like stiff locks that I could tell definitely had some kind of like oil in them. And then the base of everything was just like a really smooth combed top. So for the most part, it was fine. But there is some like little blips in there. But I'm working on doing more like long draw spinning to try to get like an insanely thin lace weight single, so that when I apply them together, it's like closer to a fingering weight yarn. And I even undershot it, like you can see right there, like that's probably still like a lace weight. And then I have some other spots that are like sport, but still turned out nice.
Yeah,
cute.
Just the intention helps too.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
if you're not just spinning to spin, just thinking like, oh, I want this to be a little bit
Right.
You know.
So that was my little spinning blip that I had. That was really fun. I finally wrapped my head around fractal spinning last year, and I really want to do that on an insanely small, like fingering weight size, like scale, to be able to knit like a larger project like that, where you can actually see like the fractal spin involved in it. So like just as I'm practicing, like thinking about what I want to make in the future, some more stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to show me your sewing biz?
I will show you my I sewed.
She
I
sewed?
did it. I will start with my square of the month, my quilt block of the month.
Can't wait to see this in person. I saw a
Um,
photo of it and my body's ready. Let's go.
So I actually tried to be better. I didn't just do it to get it done this time.
Okay.
And I'm very proud of this one. So this is my little February
Oh my
block.
God.
How sweet is that? I don't know. I just like strawberries.
Dude, no, you nailed it.
And I associate like Valentine's Day with strawberries.
And pastries.
Pastries. This little strawberry delight fabric. I don't know like the names of my fabric and stuff like that. I just know that this one I bought from Joanne, this one and this one are called Strawberry Delight, and it's just like little chocolate covered strawberries and little cheesecakes.
Cute.
So I did a little bit of what they call fussy cutting for that, which is where you're like very specific about which part of the pattern you're using.
Oh, I also have some fussy cutting in my sewing. I didn't know there was like a word for that, but I will explain.
Yeah,
Very
it's fussy
interesting.
cutting when you like want a particular part of the pattern and you like single it out. But yeah, I just wanted to continue to make my little star pattern. This time,
Yeah.
I was sure to, some things I did differently. I was sure to press after each section.
Seam, yeah.
Press it. And then I squared up my edges. So like when I connected these two, I pressed them and I cut off any extra tip. And then I just continued to do that. And I got like a way, like there's no lump here like there was in my other.
Oh, you have your first one. Wonderful.
Yeah, help me hold them, please. So these are my two squares.
Put it on an angle like facing the light a little bit so you can see that little, like,
Help me. Help me.
help me. That little,
There's like a very hard nugget in there.
oh, why don't we show the back of each?
Here's the backs. So this
Yeah,
one I did not
holy
press.
shit.
And I did not square up. And that one I did press and did square up. And you can like just clearly see which one looks more professional.
Yeah.
I'm not like by any means perfect at what I'm doing, but like obvious improvement. You know?
Yeah, my goodness. It's just so much flatter and like, I cannot get over this. I also love how, even though you weren't planning it at all, I love how these fabrics work together so far.
I put a little bit of thought into it, but like not that much.
Not planning,
I
just
think
thought.
what I want to do, like some consistencies I think I want to keep throughout. So like I want these areas that
To be solid.
To be solid,
Yes.
moodier colors. And I think what I want to do is like alternate. So like my first one, my interest fabrics were the darker and the background fabric was lighter. For this one, I did the interest fabrics lighter, the background darker. And I think I want to like alternate that.
That's what I've been doing with my granny square blanket. Just like one that I perceive to be dark and then light, dark, light. And that's enough to like trick the eye into making it look like it's meaningful.
Yeah. And I think that'll be enough, so this way when it is finally done and a blanket, there's like some like story pulling it together. I'm a little scared that this one's going to be like rendered useless at the time of quilting, because like I don't think a sewing machine needle is going to want to go through that bulge and batting and a back fabric.
Would you consider remaking this one? Do you have fabric to do this?
I do, and I might. I'm going to wait until the end and see how I feel. Okay. Because like I don't want to like remake it and take away from like what the intention of this journey was.
That is a good point though about the batting.
Right.
Plus the...
Which is why squaring up the tips is, or like the edges is so important, because the more layers of fabric you have, the more difficult it is to get a sewing machine to run through that without your needle breaking. And like...
Dude, you cursed me. I totally broke a needle yesterday. Terrible.
Yeah, mine went through my finger, and I had to like take my nail off because it was split in half.
Mine went through this finger.
Yeah. Sewing machine safety awareness.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are my squares. I'm very pleased with this one.
I think they are only going to get more interesting from here as they grow as like a little collection. This is so freaking cute.
Thank you. This one makes me feel like a janky little lady, and this one makes me feel like I know how to quilt.
Like a quilting lady.
Yeah. So very excited. One more flash.
That is sweet.
Because I love it so much. And I'm also like, I know it's only like my second one, but I'm proud of myself for being like, you got to make a square for February. So I just like sat down and did it. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do for the March yet. But I'm also very pleased because even with these being kind of janky, they're still pretty close to the same size.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like, I was waiting for, like, because I was, like, sloppier at my seam allowance and stuff with the first one, I was waiting for them to be, like, drastically different sizes. But they're close enough to still work together.
Very nice.
So, my squares. My little quilt blocks.
Little quilt blocks. Cute.
Do you want to talk about sewing, and then I'll do my sewing after my last one?
Yeah. I have, this is not like personal sewing. This is more sewing for the project bags that are in my Etsy store. If you're looking to visit my Etsy store and see what I have for sale, outside of shop updates and things like that, I always have some products in there kicking around. You can go to Etsy and search Lochknits, and my bags will come up, and there's also a link in my Instagram bio. I'm working on sort of like a spring themed update, and the only like reason I've been doing these themed updates is like more for me to get rid of specific prints out of my stash and like really try to work through them and like use them. So whether it's like color or content, like kind of on some sort of like spring theme, but I just wanted to show a little like sneak peek of what I have for the spring update. I don't have a date for it yet. It will be after episode 5 anyway, so it's coming in the future. But I've been making project bags, and then I finally locked in like a Notions pouch size that I'm really stoked on. So I've started making a bag and a Notions pouch at the same time out of the same like color palettes and like fabrics and everything. They're still going to be sold separately, so you don't like, how many Notions pouches does one human need? Probably not as many project bags, but it's nice if you do want a set. There's going to be like more opportunity to get a matching project bag and Notions pouch, which I think is fun. So this is the crazy light on this. This is actually the fabric that broke my needle on the sewing machine.
I'm not surprised.
It's like a vinyl. It's, I don't know.
I really love this set of bags. Like the whole batch you're about to show.
Yeah, they're fun. So this is the project bag. My little, it's really hard to see on this print, but I have my little Lochknits tag on the front, some cute little polka dots. My top stitching, I found like it reminds me of like the little stars on my fingers, which you can see right there that I'm pointing to.
I love your little top stitching.
Thank you. It's just
a nice
fun,
touch.
Cute.
A little trademark.
Yeah, buns. And then I have this beautiful fabric that is, it was pretty difficult to work with, but I think it paid off. I don't even know if you can see it, but there's little bunnies in here. It's on the next bag, I'll show you, but just a cute little pastel springtime colors, maybe not in content, but there's this one, and then the little matching notions pouch to go with it. This one has polka dots on the inside that goes with the outside of that one. Cuties. Honeys. This next one, I love this. How this turned out, so cute.
It's so good.
This next one is fabric that I designed. This is a tattoo flash that I have available. If you want this tattooed, hit me up. But it's just this sweet little lawn chair with some vines and plants and stuff.
Bargain chair.
Nate picked out this honeycomb fabric.
Did he? That's a good choice.
We were at
good boy,
Joann's.
Nate.
Yeah, we're at Joann's. God love him. And he's like, I went in there and I said, I need thread. And he was like, okay, sure, okay. And I'm like, I don't need fabric. And he said, isn't there a little bin of like leftovers that you can buy? And I was like, oh, you mean the remnants bin? Yes. So then I just check out the remnants bin, and he saw me walk away with like 4 things of like remnants. And then he was like, well, don't you need some of this? Like you said, you needed lining fabrics. He's so bad. So we're in front of the fabrics that are like, just like the quilter's choice fabrics, which are perfect for lining and little accents and things. And he's like, look, they have some with strawberries on them. Like the man knows exactly what he's doing. But anyway, Nate picked this out. But this is my fabric that I designed. If you want to buy this fabric, you can also get it on Spoonflower. But yeah, this is this little bag. And then I put some bright yellow polka dots on the inside. I doubt you can see that, but it's yellow. It's cute. But the honeycomb thing reminded me of like little bees.
Yeah.
Cutie. And then there's the black honeycomb fabric is on the inside of the notions pouch.
Very cute.
Set. The fabric from Spoonflower, if you ever see me talk about anything that has my designs on it, this fabric is like a significantly higher quality, even though it's still just like their base cotton. It's dense. Just very dense and like very sturdy. So like these ones are some of my favorite project bags because they're just like,
I would say it's like not a canvas, but more than your typical quilter's cotton.
Yeah, 100%.
Something in between.
This is special and a little bit of a throwback to how I used to do almost all my bags, but I brought the ribbon back. Here's the bum buns. This is my fussy quilting because I wanted the bunnies to be right here.
I love that.
But cutie little, this is actually, I think, vintage ribbon, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
And then there's little clothes.
Cut it out.
Isn't that sweet?
That is sweet.
So that's the project bag, and then the matching, I even did it on the notions pouch, the little lace. It's so big. I love how cute it is. And then we got our little clothespins in here. It's just sweet. But yeah, this little springtime collection has definitely pushed me out of my like comfort zone in terms of aesthetic.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly. But this is why I like doing like the themed updates. They're fun, something different, you know? So that's a couple of the bags that I'll have in there. I'm not even going to quantify how many I want in the update. There will be a shop update coming. It will be spring themed, and those will be in there. So I'll post about it and definitely talk about it on the next episode.
Very good. Those are very sweet. I love those bags.
They're cute.
I love that you have like your size and shape all locked in now.
Getting it done. And it's become easier the more that I've like gotten that stuff locked in. So
right. I can't wait to solicit you for my personal needs soon. I want to talk about that after too. I will show a big, literally, sewing finished.
Oh yeah.
So I might need to back up for this. I brought my whole ass pillow with me today.
Look how cute.
So I've been like redecorating my yarn room and like trying to just like hone in on like colors and shapes and my tastes, so that I like feel good when I'm in there trying to be creative. And I needed a new pillowcase to match kind of the new colors and furniture in my room. So I wanted to make a new pillowcase. There's dog hair on it. It's because me and my dog take naps on it, you know. But
that's how you know it's good.
I'm very pleased with like my corners lining up. I didn't have like a big plan for this. I just measured the pillow I had and I was like, okay, we're going to figure out how to try to turn multiple squares of fabric that is not enough into one big pillowcase. So I love these little mushrooms. I wanted to use those, but I definitely didn't have enough to complete the project with that. So they were like the main one, and like ideally I would have just used this as like the opposite square. Didn't have enough of that either. Haley actually helped me decide on using this like honey brown
in lieu of
this dark brown, but then I put the dark brown on the back, so it's all together. There's a little zipper on the bottom.
Good stash busting here.
Good stash busting. Finally cutting into that very precious fabric that I am like afraid to use because I like buying those
back orders packs?
Yeah, it's like, oh, here's a bunch of mushroomed themed, but you only get this much. And
you're like, well, twist my arm.
I'm scared to use it. Yeah. So I used it for this, and it's nice to have like just a little bit left because I feel less precious about like throwing it into something. Yeah. But this just feels very sturdy compared to some of my other pillowcases I've made. And
is there any interfacing in it?
No. This is I didn't do interface, and I didn't quilt it. It's just patchwork. Yeah. So I'll give you a little peek. Oh. Warning, there's not a pillow form in here. It's just like a whole pillow. See, it's like a quilted pillow in and of itself.
Oh, very
But cozy. I'll let you peek at my insides a little bit. It's just the pressed seams. There's no like, I didn't want to do that. No. I didn't have a good thread choice for quilting over the top. I really only have black, gray, and white thread. I do have some invisible thread, but I didn't really want to use that on this because it's kind of hard.
You should check out some of the thread that I have. You can just have whatever you want because I don't use that much of it, but if you want like a brown, I have plenty of brown and stuff.
Thank you. I would love to steal some. I'm actually realizing like I don't know what this is about right here.
That is the selvage edge.
Well, whatever. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll show you guys what I'm yelling about. There's like those little dots. Can you see them? They bother me. I don't like that.
That's the very edge of the fabric. Right. So you just bought it, laid it down, used it.
Right.
Yep. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
This is now my good pillow.
Yeah. It's freaking hefty.
Right.
Big baby.
It just feels like I could throw it in the washer and it will survive the attempt.
Yeah. It's good cotton.
Another reason I didn't want to put interface on it and quilt it is because like in the past with some of my other pillowcases, I don't know how I became a pillowcase lady. Like when I'm stressed and moody, I just make pillowcases.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to squeeze.
It just feels practical, and like I like practical art. Like I like something that serves a purpose. And if like I have had the seams open up from washing them in the washer. If that happens with this, I can just turn it inside out and like fix whatever that is, mend it. It's easier than if there's like interface and it's quilted. That makes it more complicated. But I just wanted to show my pillow, and I just wanted to show off how all my seams kind of match up how they're supposed to, like corner to corner.
Fun.
I also like squared up my edges. I did this the same day that I did like my other quilt block. I was just like,
that's a lot for a day.
It was a lot for a day.
Good for you.
And then I ran my finger through the sewing machine. Haha. But that is my last business, I think. I don't think I brought anything else that I have like worked on to talk about.
I wanted to just talk about this and put it in the people's minds.
Yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, I brought mine too. Okay, cool. I'm glad that you pulled it out. So I've been thinking since we did all of this, we have like this big fiber narrative going on throughout the episodes. Yeah. We're like honing in more on like our needs and our tastes and like the materials or whatever. And I thought it would be fun to do a make along. I thought, we could use, like, I want to see some people's stuff they're making, and like we could use some more like activity on Instagram. Yep. And I have some yarn I really want to cast on. You have some yarn you really want to cast on. So I think like our premise is going to be for the make along. You can do whatever you want, but the encouragement is to try a new fiber that you have not worked with. So if you are a person who, say, has only worked with superwash, maybe try a non-superwash yarn. If you've only worked with acrylic yarn and you want something more on like an affordable scale and the other stuff's like a little out of your means, or there's nowhere near you to get a natural fiber, there is cotton yarn very available at like big box craft stores. What is it, like sugar and cream?
Yep. There's a lot of thinner cotton options
Yes.
now too that I've seen. If you want something that's gonna result in a garment that's like a little more wearable and like drapey, or maybe it's time to make a cotton shawl, my dudes.
Come on, don't you want to be like the lady on the beach who's like, oh.
That's literally gonna be me next week.
Yeah. So that's the encouragement. If you want to participate in this make along, just try a new fiber to you. Try a fiber you haven't worked with before. You don't have to go out and buy a new fiber. Look at your stash. Read your fiber content. If you're like, hey, I've never worked with this Targi handspun I bought 3 years ago.
Yeah. Give it a whirl.
Use that. Make whatever you want.
With a new fiber. Baby, do you want to start this officially like next episode?
Yes. I thought we could talk about it now. Everybody can get their act together. And
gather your belongings. I think in terms of like what you're making is inconsequential. Just like use a new fiber. So if it is like spinning or like if you're knitting or crocheting with like whatever, we don't care.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. You can sew with a new fiber if you want. We're not fussy. Try something weird.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, just use a new fiber, and like we would encourage you to make like a slightly more natural choice if that's possible for you. Like I said, cotton's a thing. Make some washcloths, not a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll get our fibers together this week.
We have each had stuff kicking around our stash that we're like hemming and hawing about, and this was something that we had talked about. Is like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just use the dang thing. So we wanted to share that with you now. What do you have?
So I was a little naughty. So I have been learning a lot about different fibers and going down the rabbit hole of like natural fiber using knitters and like what's sustainable, what's not, blah, 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 blah. And there is like layers to sustainability, and one of those layers is not only it being like a natural wool, but it's also like the dyeing process takes a lot of money, resources, and leaves a lot of waste. So I was researching a lot of sheep that come in, like they are bred to produce naturally dark or black yarn, and that has been my focus. And I learned about these little guys called black Welsh mountain sheep.
Will you put a photo of them in?
Yes, I will. They're little honeys, right? And so this breed of sheep has been bred to produce this black yarn. I mean, there was a point in their time where like they produced a range of colors, but now for like breed standards where we are in modern day, they only produce black yarn, these little guys. And it's a naturally black yarn, so like it's not like a deep jet black, but it's like as dark as it will get, minus like the sun bleaching getting to it. So I got overexcited and I went online and I was trying to find some of this yarn, and it was mostly only finding fiber that one could spin, and not even finding like a lot of it. It's definitely available to purchase, but I didn't find like a huge amount of like resources to purchase from. I found this lady on Etsy. I will insert her name. She mostly sells like paintings that I assume she does herself, and she had like some hand spinning, and she had some black Welsh mountain. Now this is going to be hard to see, and I'll tell you why. It's a secret. It's because it's black. But it has just like the like warmest hue to it. It's like a little brown.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's like as dark as it's gonna get. It's darker than that Corriedale I bought.
Yes, definitely.
A few shades darker. And she had 3 skeins of this available that she spun herself. And I just want to like point out that this is some of the most
beautiful. It looks milled.
Consistent and beautiful hand spun like I've ever seen to work with. So I purchased this, and I got 3 skeins of it, and there is 600 yards total of this yarn.
What did you tell me you're thinking about for this?
And I want to make the 2-fold cowl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's actually more than 600 yards, like 615, something like that. I want to make the 2-fold cowl, which is it's almost like an infinity scarf shape. And it's meant to knit like half in one color, half in another. I'm going to knit it all with
the
same color. So it's all going to be this. And you can either knit it so that it's connected or add buttons. I'm not sure which I want to do. But that's my plan, because I just want to have like one piece that is just this fiber. I don't want to mix it with anything else. That's the two-fold cowl.
Yeah.
I purchased that a while ago and have been wanting to make it. I think it's for worsted weight.
Yep.
So,
but it only calls for 500 yards, so you'll be...
Right. I figured there's plenty here to do that. And what else was I going to say? I feel like there was something. Oh, this is by no... So, like, I don't think people who are not me would say, I want to make something for my neck with this yarn. It is like a medium range fiber. It does have tooth to it.
It's not the worst thing I've ever felt, but
No.
it's not... I couldn't wear that.
Right. Pretty much everybody I've seen talk about this type of yarn, this breed of yarn, has said it's great for anything, but don't, like, put it next to skin. Don't put it on your neck. I don't care. That doesn't matter to me at all. I mean, look at me. Everything I've ever done as an aesthetic choice has hurt really bad. So, like, I will just...
I also think it's probably worth mentioning, this gave me a lot of clarity when you finally, like, brought it up, and I went, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Like, she's a barber, so she's used to walking around with tiny little pieces of hair, just, like, stabbing her in various places. Like, of course you're fine with rustic wool.
All of my work clothes are caked in sharp little hairs, sharp little coarse hairs. So, like, this sensation does not matter to me at all. I have been doing it for 10 years. This is no...
Wonder if there's, like, some validity to me being, like, a smooth lady who just wipes down people with, like, chemicals all day in my smooth nitrile gloves and all that crap.
I don't know, but that's it. I'm gonna make a little neck accessory. That's my plan. I'm dying to start it, so I'm just, like, being good and waiting to do this. Along with everyone.
There's buttons on the cowl also that you will be participating in the button process, or no?
I haven't decided. I bought buttons a while ago with the intention of it being for a two-fold cowl. They're like ovally wooden buttons, and I really like them. I do think they might be a little bit brighter, and I'm not sure if I want to use them because I don't know if I want, like, distracting buttons on the front. I might just do the attached version where it has, like, little X's as, like, a detail.
Cute.
So I'm unsure. I think I'm going to do it that way.
Cool.
Nice. Very cute. What are you going to use for your fiber of choice?
I have 2 skeins of Louet Euroflax, which is 100% wet spun linen. It is black, very black. Yeah. It's neither warm nor cool. It's like a true black. Yeah. But linen has been, like, on my radar for so long because I love cotton so much. And with linen, if you've never worked with it, it's very stiff when you start, and then the more you, like, love and wear and use the garment, it softens up. And I think that's, like, incredibly special. And it is my understanding that, like, if you treat a linen garment correctly, like, it will last until you're dead, which is great and exciting. So I have, this is, each one's 100 grams, so, and 270 yards. So I have about 540 yards of this. My intention with this is to make a Mount Pleasant top, which I will show. It's been out for a really long time, and I would say that, like, a lot of people who are into, like, trending patterns would have seen it at some point, but just so you can, like, perceive it with this yarn, I'm very excited. It's a pattern by Megan Nodecker. She's a real sweetie. I like her podcast a lot. So this top out of this yarn, I am gonna make it, like, hella cropped, short sleeves. I would like to wear it over. I have, like, the fabric and the pattern and the plan and everything to make this skirt, and I need to just sit down one afternoon and make the goddamn skirt, because it would look very cute with the top like this. So this is on my list.
I think that's going to be very sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. I have had this, like I said, for a hot minute in my stash, and yeah, I can't wait.
You saying last time that you wanted to work with that linen is what, like, inspired me. Like, oh, we both have new things we want to try.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's get all the people in. I didn't pick out a hashtag.
No, so that's why we're going to start it next episode.
Yeah.
We're just telling you guys what the deal is.
Yeah. Be ready for it. The make-alongs on its way. We're all gonna get together. We're all gonna have some fun.
Or else.
Speaking of things we're all doing together, we have a winner for our giveaway for the last episode we did. We asked everyone who wanted to participate to leave a comment saying what podcasts they listen to that are like fiber and crafting related. And this morning at our little ritual brunch, we got a winner.
We do. Sorry, I'm trying to find that photo. I'm not good at phone. So, just as a reminder, this is what was up for winning. It's a Lochknits project bag.
Very sweet.
And then 2 skeins of, what the hell was this?
A fingering weight merino silk yarn.
Merino silk, which actually would be perfect if you've not used like a merino silk blend, because I can tell that this does have like a lot of extra shine to it because of the silk. It's very special. 2 skeins of that gray yarn from Ted Knits UK. So this was what they won, and our winner is Margie Grantham. So Margie, if this is you and your name's Margie, please send us an email to pricklystitchpodcast@gmail.com. There's no the. It's pricklystitchpodcast at gmail.com with wherever you would like this mailed to, and we will mail it out for you post haste. Margie says, I like watching Heather in Yarn Cantations. She owns a yarn shop in Grass Valley and it's super fun to watch. I also love Jensen and the Sugar Plum Circus. Her dark color yarn is amazingly pigmented, dark, and beautiful, which we love. That
Very
sounds
sweet.
Incredible. I have to look up the people that she mentioned in that comment because I've heard of neither, but I do be loving some dark pigmented yarn.
Anything called Sugar Plum Circus, I want to know more about.
I'm interested.
I will say, if we don't hear from you in how long? Do we want to give the person to reach out to us? Do you want to give it a week? Do you want to give it...
Yeah, probably a week from whenever this episode comes out.
Okay. If we don't hear from you within a week of whatever date this airs, we will probably
We'll just do it on the next episode and figure it out then.
Yeah, we'll sort it out then. So please get back to us as soon as you can, because we want to get this to you. We want to send it out and
Go from there.
thanks everybody who commented.
Yeah, we've been getting some weird ass comments, just so you know.
Most of the people are just nice and sweet.
Yeah, and then
Some
there's
of them
like
are
some
strange.
fucking weirdos, like don't comment on people's appearances and stuff. Like, we know how we look.
Yeah.
We're sitting here like looking at the little tiny square. Like, we fucking get it, okay? Like, we get it.
All of it's on purpose.
Right. It's all on purpose. Like, why do we do anything? Why do we wake up in the morning? Like, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Just like use your head.
Basic manners.
And if you have to like put a long ass like paragraph of a preface in saying like, I don't mean for this to be offensive, backspace it all. Just don't even
If
say
you
anything.
have to say that, then
That's all.
then you're already
There's probably something fucky going on with that.
there.
So I understand that the internet's a weird place, but like, we're not nice people.
No.
When you say weird shit, so just stop doing that. I will say we did get a lot of really awesome variety in terms of like who we should be watching, like who else you guys are into, which is great, and that's super fun. And I do like seeing our like familiar favorites. Lots of like Maria with Woolen Forest, Heather and Hops, all of that. Not Heather and Hops, Cat Weaver. Some like good staple people. Wool Needles Hands was mentioned a lot. Taylor watches the podcast, which is really sweet.
It's very flattering.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that somebody recommended that you've checked out the past 2 weeks?
No, I haven't been in front of my TV.
That's
and I
fair.
started Game of Thrones last night. The what the hell's the new one? I don't know.
The new one.
The new Game of Thrones. Not the old one.
I checked out Stitches and Starlight, which a bunch of people recommended, and I really like her whole thing. She seems to be like a big spinner. She's real fast. Like, she's like, I'm telling you stuff, you gotta keep up.
Yeah.
But like, everything she's saying does have like substance and is very informative.
I totally forgot. I have been watching a lot of knitting podcasts at the gym, which is definitely solidifying my cool girl at the gym look that I have going. I started watching
It's a Sarah?
It is a Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's funny.
She is so cute. Oh my god, I love seeing another like very curly haired yarn lady who just like wraps herself up in a shawl and sits down and is like, hey, what's up?
She's just good fun.
She is good fun. And this person will film a whole ass episode in Finnish, right?
Oh, yeah, in Dutch.
And then film it again, the same episode in English. Like, put so much work and effort into, like, making it very accessible for a huge range of people. Absolutely worth looking up. Like, I've been having a really fun time catching up on, like, her old episodes. She's cute, and she is team leg warmers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We love a lady who wears leg warmers.
Squad up.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay.
It's time to sign off here.
I do want to mention one more podcast.
Yeah.
And I don't recall if this one was recommended by someone down below or if
it's just your recommendation.
If maybe this is my recommendation. I found this person on accident because I was looking up the Black Welsh Mountain stuff.
Yes.
And I found this woman. Sarah, that's her name?
Yeah.
This woman, Sarah.
I started watching her too.
She's a good one. She's very like to the point. She's very like direct about what she's talking about. She goes by, is it Wool and Twine?
Oh, this is not who I'm talking about.
No, it's not.
I'm talking about the Black Sheep Knitter.
Oh, the Black Sheep Knitter. That's a good one too.
Sarah of the Black Sheep Knitter is also great, very quick to the point, and like will tell you all about everything. And she's going through a Stephen West pattern phase right now, which is really inspiring and incredible because the color stories happening are gorgeous. So Black Sheep Knitter for sure.
I will co-sign that because she was fun too. She's been somebody I've been watching. I like her, like, she feels like hanging out. I don't know.
Yeah, some people are like, soft-spoken knitting podcast. And then there's like...
present to you.
Yeah, then there's us.
She's like, haha, I'm here. Let's get into it.
Haha. She's like, there's 8 bags of yarn beside me. Don't look at them.
None of your business.
None of your business. Yeah, I love that.
The person I was talking about, I actually don't recall her name. I was like, oh, you have her name?
No,
we were sidetracked. This is, I think her YouTube is Wool and Twine and her business is Wool and Twine. She's from Germany. She is like a very ethical indie dyer.
Yes.
At least to what I understand, she's doing like the most work I've seen anyone do to put a product out. And
if you're like really interested in all the stuff that Sock's been talking about like breed specific things, sustainability, like all of that, like you have learned a lot from watching this person.
From this person. Yeah, like ethical animal treatment, ethical worker treatment, you know, how far yarn is traveling, the natural dyeing process, and this woman, basically the core of what she does, and she posts little videos talking about her bases and new releases, is she does natural dyeing, and each of her bases she has custom milled for her, so she can make sure that all the yarn is coming from a place where both the animals and the workers are treated fairly and ethically, which is like super amazing. And I just appreciate that anybody is willing to stress themselves out enough to earn a living. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to just be like, oh, I need a base to dye this base to sell it to make income. But she's really like, well, I'm not going to get this base unless it's exactly what my, like, ethics allow.
Align with. Yeah.
And I just found her really, like, educational and refreshing. So there's our hot 4 of new podcasts we've become aware of in this past week.
Yep.
That you guys should watch.
Check
or don't. But you probably should because they've been informative.
I don't know why I feel like I'm in like a bubble. I think I'm gonna look like a floating head this whole episode.
I feel like I've just been like, hi, this is the half of my face you can see. This is Suck's face over here.
I was just gonna say, that Suck.
I'm really struggling with our lighting.
It's a very, very like overcast day today.
I just feel like every time I'm suffering.
Yeah, that's okay.
We'll get it or we won't, you know.
We'll lock it in or maybe not. I don't know. Like, what do I look like, a professional?
Send us a ring light in the mail and we'll improve our production quality. That's all I have to say about that. Cool. But I think that is like all of our episode, right? Yeah. We're gonna go, goof off and enjoy the rest of our day where I lurk around your house and make Tater scream.
Haha. Yeah.
So thanks for joining us again. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.